Hi, welcome to my first. What was that? Welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My name's Joe, and today you're joining me on the M6, heading up towards the Lake District National Park in England, in the United Kingdom. So, I've had this plan for quite a while now. I've been really looking forward to it. I've known what I was bringing, where I was going, what I was doing, what I was eating, everything except what I didn't know was that there was going to be not one, but 2 weather warnings put in place for the whole of the United Kingdom the day before, after I'd packed everything, bought everything. So, not great, not ideal, but I'm going to go anyway, because I'm mad. I don't recommend that anybody else goes and camps in weather warnings. I've been doing this for quite a while. I know what I'm doing. I've got all of the gear, so I will be okay. We're going to do a bit of bushcraft. We're going to hopefully do a bit of fishing. We're going to do some outdoor cooking. We're going to do some wild camping. We're going to do some other things. And we're going to get a bit dampy. It's not a good start. I think there's a flood at the bottom of this hill. You see the traffic all backed up on the other side as well, so that suggests to me that there's some kind of flood. But that's the big backpack. It's the biggest backpack on planet Earth. Oh nice, got a signal. Ooh, oh it's just gone, never mind. But yeah, anyway, so safety first, he's strapped in nicely there, and hopefully we'll get through this soon. Yeah, so as I suspected, big fat flood. Actually quite deep. And we're away! Unlucky, guys! This is absolutely crazy. I mean, I can see why the weather warnings are in place now. There's just every corner you turn around, there's like a massive flood, or there's a car broken down in the middle of a flood, or a tree's fallen down. I mean, it's pretty crazy right now. But adventure. Just headed. There's another one. It's getting worse. Each time is like deeper, and oh no, that's very deep. I don't know if it's like best practice to go through them slowly or quickly, or that's horrible. Oh no, how am I gonna get home? I'm leaving my car here for 2 days. I'll just test my brakes again. Oh, it does make a difference to your brakes. I'll rattle it into sport mode. Burn it all off the engine. Woo! I'm just driving in a river right now. It is crazy. Oh my god. That's the road. Holy wow. This is the oh, I don't even know if it's a good idea to go down here. Just pulled over here just for a second, just to show you the power of the water that's coming off the side of the mountain. Like, I can feel it rumble in my car, but I'll show you, it's crazy. Woof. Right, we better find somewhere to park. I parked at the top of a hill, so it's quite unlikely that where I park is going to end up flooded by the time I get back. Although this weather is crazy. This is the most mental weather I've ever seen in the Lake District. Everywhere you go, there's just cars broken down, floods. It's mental. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to head out. I'm going to get my stuff together, and we're going for it. Right, so I've just got off the road. Oh, someone's lost a pair of binoculars. Woo-hoo-hoo! That is mental. No swimming. That's such a shame, because I was thinking about nipping in there, but the sign says no swimming, so I'll leave it. Whew. A little bit of a view now. I don't know if the camera can pick it up or not, but it's actually looking alright. Right, so here's what I'm thinking. With the presence of all of these widowmaker trees, I'm thinking it might be worth camping underneath a fallen tree, so that on the very, very unlikely event one of these trees falls down on me, at least I'll have something to protect me. Yeah, so I'm thinking I might clear a little area underneath this, put my tarp over it, and at least I've got somewhere dry then, and I can figure out what I'm going to do next. Move a few more branches and hopefully I'll have a nice area to chill and be dry. Just a bit of an update. I've got like an hour of daylight left, so trying to get this sorted out. Well, that's the tarp up. It's the wind's really crazy right now, but yep, all good. I haven't really checked in with you guys for a little bit because I've been pretty busy getting this sorted before we lose daylight. The shelter's not the best looking one I've ever made, but it'll definitely keep me dry tonight. I had to use a spade, a little collapsible OEX spade, to dig out a flat bit underneath this fallen tree, but this should be pretty sound for tonight, I think. Ayla always gets me the most thoughtful Christmas gifts, so this was a little gear organiser that she's bought, so you can just hang all your stuff up and you know where everything is. So thank you, Ayla. It's crazy. So, just in case I couldn't make a fire, I did bring a tiny little gas. This little thing, I don't know if you can see the size of it, right? That's the size of it. So, Fire Maple sent me this for Christmas. So thank you very much, Fire Maple, that's really kind of you. So look at that, right? That's the size of it in my hand. It is crazy. So it all just folds out. I think that's mental, how small that is. So that's it, just a tiny little stove. The wind's wobbling my camera there. That's my lunch, very late lunch, it's 3 o'clock. Thank the Lord. It felt like that took hours. It didn't, it only took like a couple of minutes, but still. Just going to seal this up and give it a squish around. It take about 15 minutes to cook, so make sure that's really sealed. Boy, trick is to get it just give it in there. You've got to make sure it's properly sealed up though. So now you've got a hot water bottle and a dinner. I've been a bit of a numpty. I dropped my sleeping bag on the floor before and I thought that it was in a dry bag, but it turns out it wasn't at all and it's soaking wet. So is my pillow, which is obviously a problem. So I'm trying to dry it out. I've got a little while to dry it out. It's not getting wet under here, so hopefully the wind coming through might dry it out a little bit, but that is a pretty serious problem. Full update. Yeah, I mean everything is pretty soaked. I think with this wind coming through here, it might dry out a little bit and it might be okay. Right now it's not that late, so with a bit of time maybe it'll dry out. I've got it over my little washing line there, so fingers crossed it just dries out and everything's okay. I'm just going to have some food now. It is getting a bit chilly now, I must admit. I really hope it does dry out, because it's going to be a really, really uncomfortable night if it doesn't. We'll see. That's actually really nice. Of all the things I could have done, the one thing that had to stay dry, just one thing, this is soaked. These are really, really nice, and they've got 635 calories, which if you're out and about hiking, it's a pretty decent meal. In my opinion, these are the best ones. I have tried loads of different ones, and these are the best. Yeah. Tough one to call. What am I doing? Why on earth am I here? It's just mental. It's just this bit. This bit's absolutely soaked through. All along this column. So annoying. I can't believe I did that as well. Like me lecturing everybody else about outdoors tips. I feel like a fraud now I've done that. I heard a tree fall down not too far away from me. And not gonna lie, all of my gear is absolutely soaked. The wind's picking up. I don't know if the mic's picking it up. I'm standing with my back to the wind, so hopefully you can still hear me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hike back to the car, which is about, I think it's about 2.5–3 kilometres, and I'm going to try and book into like a guest house or something like that, dry out my gear, and then give it another go tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be a horrible hike back, but yeah. Anyway, there's your update. Back to my car. Wow, that was the right decision. It's mental out there. It's absolutely wild. Like my car is shaking right now. Yeah, it was the right decision. My kit was all wet. It's a bit of a shame, but I can go find somewhere nice and dry and warm to stay, dry out my gear, and then get back out tomorrow. So that's my plan. I'm gonna go and find somewhere, just a cheaper kind of B&B or whatever. Right, this place has got a pretty fitting name. Just going to see if there's any rooms in here. Checked into my hotel, Traveller's Rest. If you can hear machinery downstairs, it's because the whole place is flooded. Yeah, crazy weather. Glad to be in somewhere dry though. Oh well, this is pretty nice. Much nicer than sleeping where I was going to sleep anyway, so silver lining. Just going to put all my stuff out to dry now. Hopefully it'll be dry by the morning. I can get back out. So I feel like a total fraud. I've done a Bear Grylls. I've told everyone I'm going camping, but I'm actually in a hotel. I've literally got kit drying in every single corner of this room. There's just stuff that's wet everywhere, but I'm pretty glad that I'm not out there in that weather. I have done something a bit weird. I know it looks a bit odd, but I'll show you quickly. So I did bring... Shit. I've just broke the blinds. It's not the best. Be right back. Right, yeah, no stress. I've fixed the blinds. Everyone can chill. But yeah, I've trapped my food that needed to be refrigerated outside in a little plastic bag because, yeah, there's no fridge or anything in this room, so. I am going to go and do some camping soon. Promise. I have checked out and I've travelled 45 minutes to a different area of the Lake District and we are on. Looks sweet. Definitely made the right decision moving to the other side of the lakes. I've just pulled over in a lay-by for a second, but I've headed over to a different forest area. Hopefully find a nice sheltered spot where I'm not going to get wet. All my kit dried out really well, so not taking any chances today. It's all deep in dry bags in the bottom of my bag, and yeah, there's no way any of that's getting wet today. Just walking along and I thought I'd check the weather on my Garmin. Yeah, so we've got some... How unlucky am I? I mean, I'm lucky to be able to get out and do this sort of stuff, but what on earth? Beautiful little spot, and it's a perfect place for me to collect some water as well. Really happy to have found this. I'm going to take my bag off now and just fill up my water bottle. When you're collecting water, it's always better to collect it in the fast flowing parts, not the little pools at the side. That's where all of the nasty things that can upset your tummy will be sat. But in fresh flowing water, that's going to be the most filtered it's going to get. But I am going to filter this again. I haven't actually brought a proper filter with me, so I'm just going to run it through some mesh and then also boil it. I've been trekking around in what is pretty dense undergrowth, and I've got a bit of a sweat on. I should probably take this buff off. But I think I might have found a spot which looks pretty good for the night, and it's this little spot over here. So I'll show you. So the reason I think this looks pretty good is everywhere else the ground is absolutely saturated, even this part that I'm walking on. But here there's a relatively dry patch, and all I've really got to do is clear a few of these pokey sticks out, put a crossbar over that and put my tarp over it, and I'm pretty certain that'll be a good shelter for the night. This is by far the best tool I've ever had for bushcraft. Just got to get all of this stuff moved out of the way now. I was actually pretty concerned about having to sleep somewhere wet. to try and work out how long of a crossbar I need. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's a fallen tree here that would just be perfect for my crossbar. I'm just going to take all of the bits off it. This is by far the best saw I've ever had for bushcraft. It's agua, never really know how to say it. It's still soaking wet from yesterday, but it's bang on. Just all comes together like that. They sent me it 2 years ago. I've been promoting it on Instagram for 2 years. I haven't changed the blade in 2 years, and it's still like really tensioned and bang on. So yeah, if you're looking for a saw, I've tried all of them, and this one, by far the best. If you're using something like this for a crossbar, is you've got to make sure that you've got all of the pokey bits nice and flat. That would just go straight through your tarp. So you've got to clean them up, make them smooth. This is a green log. It was growing not too long ago, but it's obviously fallen down in this wind, and it's a shame, but at least I'll put it to good use. Right, time to get out an absolutely soaking wet tarp from yesterday. It's going to be absolutely minging, but hopefully it can dry out. So I've got the back pegged in now. All I've got to do is get some uprights for this, just here, and have them coming down, and then I can get to work on the inside of it. I found my 2 uprights from another fallen tree over there. So with this, it's just a case of, I can't speak, for this it's just a case of just taking all these bits off. The best news that I've got is that I've found 3 dead standing trees over there that are completely dry. They're surrounded by really, really dense forest, so it doesn't matter how much it rains, it's not going to get wet. So that's really, really good news for me, because it means that I can cook my steak. I was pretty concerned that I wasn't going to be able to do that, so yeah, I'm buzzing about that, I must admit. So let's get the rest of this set up, and yeah. You can pull it tight, put a guide rope coming off here down to the floor, and that'll keep that one tight, and try and stick it in the floor a little bit. But that's looking pretty good to me. So what I'm going to do is use this little offcut and make like a tent peg. Oh dear, that's just fell down. So I need to find something to hit it on. So that's a little tent peg now. It doesn't need to be anything special, just a overhand knot like that. Yeah, that's one done. So I just quickly got this other one up. And I'm just going to tension it. But I'm really glad to have got this spot because it's perfect, to be honest. I can't see anything going wrong with it. Bit into the floor. Just using the back of the axe. Yeah, I can't see that going anywhere. It looks bang on. So chilled in here right now. Should probably get up and get some firewood really. I might as well. Right, so my setup's all done. I've got a bit of firewood, enough to make a steak anyway, which I'm starving. It's nearly 1 o'clock, so I'm going to quickly put my drone up before the wind picks up again. I'll try and show you a little bit around the area where I am. The wind is still pretty bad high up, like I don't know if you can see the trees moving, so I probably won't be able to send it too far, but I'll quickly show you around with the drone. And then I'm going to find some rocks to make a little fire pit there and cook up a big steak. That's everything done now. Everything's laid out ready to start the fire. I think like the number one or the most important thing when you're making a fire is organisation. Like you have to have little sticks kind of ready, bigger sticks ready, bigger chunky sticks ready, and if you want to dry anything out, I want to dry those 2 logs out at the back there, so, and probably this one as well, so I'll stick them there. And hopefully they dry out and burn a little bit later on. But I've got enough wood to keep me going for an hour or so, maybe a couple of hours, so I can have a nice little fire, cook up the food that I've got, yeah, and then just chill out. I might even have a beer. I think I deserve it. Yeah. So this is just a Wolf and Grizzly fire rod. So you can either use these that come with it, or you can use the back of your knife and you just do that, so you can make sparks. So I mean, in any normal world I would find some birch bark and use that, but truthfully everything is absolutely soaked, so the easiest thing to do is just to use these. I think they're just cotton wool. These flame up really quickly, so all you've got to do is land 1 spark on that and it should just go straight away. See, and this is why it's important to be organised. You've got to have sticks ready to go. It's always going to be pretty smoky after it's been raining for a few days, but That's well and truly going now. Wind's just going absolutely crazy. I don't know if the mic will be picking it up or not, but even just that little bit of wood that's on there now is kicking up some really, really nice heat. So I know this might look like one gigantic mess, but I've laid out all of the other logs around the fire just to dry them out. So if they catch fire a little bit, it doesn't really matter all that much. The fire's raised off the ground anyway, so yeah, it should be should dry all the rest of them out. Just got a couple more to lay around the outside. That one can go on top. Yeah, particularly wet. But doing this just helps dry out the rest of the logs and give you a better fire. So this is called a Big Bitty Q. It's a fold out barbecue, which I've been using for quite a while now, to be honest, and I've used it lots of times in lots of different places, so it is pretty battered, but it just all folds out. Kind of looks a bit like Meccano, but it all folds out and turns into a really nice grill, and it just opens up like that. Right, cheers everybody. Here's another 9.5% ridiculous brewdog. Didn't really get to drink the one from yesterday, so cheers. Oh my god, that is amazing. Better get to work on this steak, hadn't I? I have brought some of my very, very lovely steak spice with me, which it is spectacular. I'm so excited for this steak. These are an absolute godsend. These are from Wolf and Grizzly. Fire gloves, basically. Don't really know what else to call them. You can just pick anything up. You can pick hot coals up. They're really, really good. I use them all the time. I use them when I'm hot tent camping for the stove. They are just brilliant. Look at how much that's dried out. Ooh. When you've got these gloves on, you forget that you've got sleeves and arms, because you feel like you can just touch anything. But if an ember gets up your sleeve, you know about it pretty quickly. The water that we got before, that we collected at the little river, we've got to filter it before we boil it, just to make sure that there's no extra nasty bits in it. So the way that I would do that is I would get this, which is just the mesh bit for the fire, off the fire maple. I will put it over the top of the flask and then just pour the water down. You can use a sock as well. I've done that quite a few times. You got to run it through some kind of material, as you know, if you're in a survival situation, even like a dirty sock or something like that would be fine. The top back on. And that'll boil so quickly. The heat coming off that will get that boiling really, really fast. So with my steak, I'm just having some herby potatoes. Yeah, just gonna wrap those up like that, and they'll just go straight on the fire as they are. Try and stick them in a bit that's going to be hotter. maybe at the back. And that's that done. Add potatoes in, water boiling so that it gets all the nasty bits out of it. This is a lovely beer. I wish I had 2 of them. It is lovely wild camping on your own. It is a really, really nice, relaxed vibe. But I also do miss my little girl and my girlfriend. I've got a 5-year-old little girl who's really, really into this sort of stuff. Like, she's always asking all the time, when are we going camping? When are we going camping? It's great. It's really, really good. And I'll definitely be making some plans, some adventures with her to film for you guys. But yeah, I do miss them. So one thing that is weird, so when you take the glove off, you've got an overwhelming urge to move things with your hands, and obviously you burn yourself when you do that. So that's a tip for anyone that gets those gloves. Don't touch anything when you take them off. One thing I did forget to mention is I brought this little fella with me. It's a little personalised. It was actually a gift for last Christmas. So Fire Maple sent me the little tiny stove thing for this Christmas, and last Christmas he sent me this. And I've only used it a couple of times, but before I left I filled it up with honey Jack Daniels. And if you've never had honey Jack Daniels, even if you don't like whiskey, honey Jack Daniels is dangerous. Seriously, seriously dangerous. It's lovely. It's like juice. But yeah, so 2 tips. Get one of these and get some honey Jack Daniels. That is flipping brilliant. So this little fella is well and truly boiling. That's my water for tonight and tomorrow. That is pretty special. Tinfoil failure. That's a disaster. It's not really, I suppose. It's only a spud, isn't it? It's not the end of the world. No one died. The sizzle. That's the part that we all want, isn't it? I'm gonna get the mic and put it next to it. Ooh, oh, wrong way round. Rookie. Shouldn't be on YouTube. This knife was sent to me by Melvin Castricum. He's a solo knife maker, and yeah, he sent it to me maybe, I don't know, a year ago, something like that. It's a really, really nice knife. He makes beautiful knives. You should check him out, Castricum with a K. This is brilliant. It's very, very sharp. But yeah, I've been using it for quite some time now, and it's brilliant. See, they look burnt. They aren't. That is a perfect potato. Have you ever seen a better looking spud than that? You haven't. I'll answer for you. Looking pretty good. I'm going to move it off the direct flames and bring it over to this little bit here where it's less singy. Is singy a word? Right, so is honey roasted potatoes a thing? Because I've got a pot of honey, and I've never had honey on potatoes before, but maybe I'll warm it up a little bit first. A jar of honey that I stole from a hotel, and I guess we're trying it. Maybe it'll be nice, who knows. This steak is looking sweet. So my honey roasted potatoes are just honey roasting away down there. So the moment of truth on the steak. Wow. That couldn't be any more perfect. The moment I've all been waiting for. Right, I'm not gonna film myself eating the whole thing because truthfully I think that's a bit weird, but this is amazing. Honey roasted potato, and yeah, they should be a thing. I don't know why they're not a thing. They should be a thing. They are great. This is perfect. Just mean I've got some more firewood. So, this is my little setup. I haven't checked in for a little while, it's a bit later on now. But I'm pretty chilled out, to be honest. I've just been relaxing near this fire. It's absolutely beautiful. Feet have got a bit wet today, so just trying to dry them out a little bit. Really, really hot, that fire. Some owls flying around and screeching every now and again, but this is pretty peaceful. I've put all my firewood on the fire and I've put my sleeping bag and everything inside the hammock. So yeah, it just started raining, then it stopped, so hopefully it stays off. But yeah, I've packed everything away, except for obviously the hammock and the things that you can see out, because I've got to get off pretty early in the morning. I've got to get back, so yeah, everything's all packed away and sorted. I've just got to hopefully get a decent night's sleep and then wake up in the morning, pack away. Last little update of the evening. I've packed everything away now, except for obviously the tarp, the hammock and my sleeping bag. So I'm just going to chill out. I think I'm just going to get in my sleeping bag and hopefully have a decent night's sleep. It's only pretty early, it's only like 7:30, something like that. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. If you've got to the end of this, I really, really appreciate you watching. I do plan on putting out quite a lot more of these kind of videos, so if you like it, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.